So I wanted to make a video of how I keep track of Team R.G.B.A's fight record. This is an Excel spreadsheet in my computer, and I have it here dated. I have a column with the date, the fighter, the location of the fight, whether it was televised, who the promoter was, and then I have a tallying win, loss, draw, or DQ. So I'm gonna go through it just briefly, just so you know how I do it. This is on January 25th of this year. Misael Chino Rodriguez fought Omar Chavez. Where was it at? San Luis Potosí in Mexico. The promoter was Zanfer. Misael won. So then that changes this to 1-0-0. I have some notes over here. But the next one, if it's in red, that means the fight was canceled. And then if I have it in pink, that means it was either a loss or a draw or a DQ or a no contest. So over the years, I've been doing this for a while. So I've created my own bank of what means what. So if I highlight it over here in pink, it's laws or draws, or pro debuts are in green, championship fights are in yellow, and red is canceled fights. So then to go back over here, Leo's fight ended in a draw in Las Vegas. So now the record is 1 win, 0 losses, 1 draw. All right, and here we go. So next in January, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 fighters. Dan fought to a draw or a DQ. I think his opponent was, there was a no contest. I have that in the notes right there. So there's a no contest. Manuel Jaimes, Oscar Duarte in Anaheim, Antonio Mireles in Jamestown, Anthony Cuba in Jamestown. The first championship fight was Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov. That was in Saudi Arabia, and that was on DAZN. These 3 fights got canceled. And then here we have Jose Valenzuela, known as Rayo. So Rayo fought and lost to Gary Antoine Russell. Murataya fought. These 2 fights got canceled. Caleb Zuniga fought. Louis Coria suffered a loss to Jesse Magdaleno. So the score at that point, where the tallying record is 10 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 1 no contest. 2 other fighters fought on that card, Anthony Cuba and Anthony Saldivar. Alexis de la Cerda, Emiliano Cárdenas, Emiliano Alvarado. Hector Beltran pro debuted in Sahuayo, Michoacán. In April, we had Lindolfo Albert Gonzalez and Art Barrera, all in Las Vegas at the Palms. So the tallying record at that point is 19 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 1 no contest. A fight for Rey Murataya was canceled. Arturo Cárdenas, Damian Sosa, Samaron, and Leo's fights get canceled. Jose versus Devin Haney. That was in May in New York. So that gets tallied as a loss. 21-3, 1-1. Albert Gonzalez fight got canceled. Art Barrera still fought on that card. Samaron, no, Javier Guerrero Cruz in Lubbock, Texas. I don't know if I added that. No, I didn't add that. I don't know why I have that on there. It's probably in association with the team, but there was no representation of the team during the fight. Rey Murataya became the 17th world champion of Team R.G.B.A. That's why I have it highlighted there in blue. A couple fights get canceled. Gio fought in San Diego. Hector Beltran fought his second. Okay, so right here, I put the record of the Hector Beltran pro debuted early in the year. So now he's 1-0 versus, and then I put the record of his opponent there. Eric Pedraza pro debuted. I think they had 4 or 5 pro debuts this year, which is a lot for them. Dan Cortez and Ethan Perez fought in San Antonio. Emiliano Rodriguez fights in Morelia, Michoacán. Jesus Martinez suffered a loss, I believe. Yep, that was a loss. Gary Jonas card, pro box card, Brandon Lee. Leo Rubalcaba fights to a loss. That's why it's highlighted. Jonathan Aurora went to Australia. Pita was in his corner. That's another loss. Canceled fights. Raul Curiel wins in DAZN in spectacular fashion. That was a great fight. That was a good fight for him. He was losing that fight, and he came back to win that. Jesus Martinez fights gets canceled. Carlos Valderas fights in Fresno. A bunch of canceled fights. Jesse Bam Rodriguez fights in Frisco, Texas versus Cafu. Hector Beltran fights on that undercard under Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing. The tallying record at that point is 37, 6, 1, and 1. A bunch of canceled fights. Emiliano Cardenas in Morelia, Eric Rodriguez Pedraza in Tijuana. Flavio Burgueno is a pro debut. Cesar Donovan also fights there. Albert Gonzalez and Art Barrera fight in San Jacinto, House of Boxing. That was not televised. Oscar Duarte fights in Chicago, gets a win. Tallying record 44, 6, 1, and 1. All these 3 fights get canceled. Zamarron fights in Pomona. Ethan Perez fights in San Antonio. Misael's card gets canceled in Durango. I think he came in overweight. Eric Pedraza, Cesar Morales, and Flavio's card gets canceled. Hector Beltran 3-0. It might be 2-0. I might have to go check that. So I just come in here and I update it as I go, as I see stuff on Instagram, as I see stuff on YouTube. It takes a lot of work, but once you get the hang of it, look, we had 2 more pro debuts just recently last month. Temo Campa, Felipe's son in Tijuana, and Luis Jr. Coria, also pro debuted there at the Evolution. They're about to fight again right here, October 25th. So at that point, what do we got? We got a DQ for Angel Tashiro Fierro versus Bombi. So that makes the record 52 wins, 6 losses, 1 loss, 1 draw, 56 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 1 no contest, 1 DQ. And then I have here Chris Tech Basaldua. I haven't updated that one, so that'll be his win right there. I haven't changed that yet. We got Albert and Art Barrera in Long Beach, Emiliano Rodriguez in Saguayo, and then 4 or 5 fighters. I know Robert recently said there's 5 fights here. I'm missing 1 in Tijuana. Jesus Martinez Panterita and Caleb Zuniga are scheduled to fight in Texas. Virgil Ortiz is fighting in Fort Worth versus Erickson Lubin. That's scheduled for November 8th. Hector Beltran will be on that undercard. Dan Cortez in San Antonio. Also Ethan Perez, Jesse Bam Rodriguez in Saudi versus Fernando Martinez. And then the year will end with Carlos Balderas in Fresno. So they're scheduled to fight a total of 76 fights. That's pretty average for them. You know, before the pandemic, they were getting almost, they were in the 90s in terms of fights. So I'm just going through it, showing you how I keep track of the R.G.B.A. schedule. It takes a lot of work, but once you get the hang of it, then it's just data entry. But it's an Excel spreadsheet. I've color-coded stuff just to point stuff out to me, because let me see how many pro debuts we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a lot of pro debuts in 1 year. So that's how they're going to end the year. They're going to end the year with Bam and Carlos Balderas fighting in November in Saudi and in Fresno. And it'll be roughly around 70. Yeah, he might get up to 80. There's a few fights that I'm missing in here. I have to follow Instagram in order to see who's scheduling their fights and stuff like that. So I'm Sonteo Media. You can follow me on Instagram at Sonteo_media. You can follow me on YouTube here. For the latest updates on R.G.B.A. I do a tallying record, how you see it here. I also cover other things like skateboarding and handball and car shows that have my interest. So if you like the content, please subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.